Well, we now continue our weekly land report segment with American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. George Baird joins us now with the latest from his region. And George, thank you so much for being here. I know today focusing on irrigation, and I'd like you to address how important that this is for crops in the Mid-South.
Oh, it's extremely vital. You know, while we get plenty of rainwater throughout the year, for example, this year we're, by the end of May, early June, we were well above average. Our real difference is the timing of the irrigation, or the timing of the rainfall when we get it and when we need it. It's estimated about 70% of all the land in the Mississippi Delta, which includes the Boot Hill of Missouri and parts of northeast Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas, is about 70% irrigated. And where we see a real variance is yields, because over the last 6 weeks we've had a lot of heat. It's really pushed the crop along, and I know producers and have producers on farms I take care of that have already irrigated 8+ times this year. And we're going to see a real variance on yields from 50+%, between irrigated and non-irrigated on crops like soybeans. Corn, probably not that big a variance, but we don't see a lot of non-irrigated corn in the Delta either.
George, most producers, right, are so familiar with pivot, flood irrigation. Other techniques that are used in irrigating row crops?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of advancements in different irrigation techniques over the last, throughout my whole career, but really in the last 4 or 5 years. What's been longstanding is precision level ground, meaning where we take a farm that's pretty undulating or almost too flat in some cases and put slope to it, meaning, 1.5 to 2 inches of fall every 100 feet. So think of a tabletop. But that really lets us micromanage the irrigation water, maintain those water levels in fields like rice. It helps reduce water runoff. We can also do zero-grade fields where we're impounding water in the smaller fields. We can do alternative wetting drying, which allows us to keep the soil moist but not maintain a full flood, so you reduce some water usage by over 50%, which is very positive. It also lets us put crops like rice on ground that would have maybe not traditionally been raising rice crops. So that's been real popular. And then there's also new tools and computer programs out there that we've really begun to utilize fully in the last 3 or 4 years. One particularly is called Pipe Planner, where that lets you take an irregular shaped field and plan your watering accordingly. That way you're not wasting water as it's running out on one end of the field while you're still waiting for the other side to get water through. So there's just a ton of, not only with cost being a big concern, but we're also always thinking about water quantity and how much we're using, trying to make sure we preserve that resource for future generations.
Absolutely. Boy, great information. Technology, it is pretty amazing, and these advancements just continue. George, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it very much. That is George Baird with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers.